producers is, and I always get very different answers, is, you know, at the very beginning of your studio process, when you're first making a track, what does that look like for you? You know, what do you start with? What do you play around with? And how does that, you know, kind of flesh out and become something bigger? And then eventually a finished product.
For me, I'm a melody guy. Almost all my songs start just with melodies or with chord progressions. Sometimes it doesn't even start on my computer. Sometimes I play the guitar. Sometimes I sit with a songwriter and we just hum melodies over chord progression. And that's why I like pop music. There are no rules. You can basically do whatever you want to do. And also in a bit, I'm going to show you how I do something from scratch. Hopefully inspire you guys. Hopefully I have a good idea. I don't know yet. Maybe it will suck. But should we start with the project, with something new? Or should we start with, like, should I show you how a project looks like?
Maybe let's look at how the project looks first, just to give people an idea of a sense, and then maybe once they understand the setup a little better, we can go to starting from scratch.
This is unreleased music. I can't play with the vocal yet. Maybe I play a little bit of a vocal, but I do know as soon as I play something here, it's on the internet. It's with Brian Tedder. I'll play it as the instrumental.
As a producer myself, I can attest that this does happen frequently too. It's not next level meth. I don't want to get everyone excited. I don't think I'll release this anytime soon. Just like all the other songs I play live. But yeah, I started this song actually just with chords. It's funny, I just used the basic grand piano from FL Studio. I use a lot of FL Studio plugins, so I hope some of you work with FL Studio. It makes life easier. I can show you guys a project, but I'd love you guys to ask me some questions so I have some direction. If you want to know what I put on my master channel, if you want to know if I equalize my sounds, how I equalize them.
First of all,
What's up?
Thanks for doing this masterclass.
No worries.
I think
yeah, hi. Thanks for doing this masterclass. I really appreciate it very much. And you showed right now like the grand piano. How you handle that? I mean, like the velocity stuff and just to sound more humanized.
Depends. I work with Giorgio Timeford a lot, and he's an amazing piano player. So sometimes we record his piano. And then you hear like the amazing velocity difference. Sometimes I use an existing MIDI file played by a piano player and I just change the notes so we have like the feel that it's still being played by a real piano. But yeah, here you can see the velocity. And you can see it's all not on the same level, so it sounds like it's played real. And I just installed my new computer, which is right here. with Contact, and I just found out a bunch of other amazing piano sounds. But for this song, I still used FL piano, and yeah, I like it a lot.
Thanks.
And it makes a very big difference, you know, being able to have the velocity sound human, you know, versus if it's all at the same velocity, it sounds robotic, it doesn't have the same sort of energy to it, right?
Yeah, and what I think is more in Garrix stuff too, like the more emotional stuff. I don't know, for me music is all about transferring emotion, generating certain feelings, generating happiness. And I'm a very happy, energetic guy, so I want people to listen to my music and get like the same feeling. Any more questions?
Do we have another one from the crowd?
Actually, I was wondering, you were talking about how you had like harder stuff in the past and like mainly 128, but now you kind of switched with your projects like Dua and Bebe to like the more poppy kind of music. Do you think you could show us some of that? Because I'm really interested in that, and that's like really what's going on right now in the music scene with the Chainsmokers, your songs with like Name of Love and Scared to Be Lonely, now the one with Troy, and maybe you could show us something like that, because I think that's really interesting.
Let me find.
Honey,
This might take like more than 2 minutes. Please tell me you can relate to this. This is like Sketch It Only, 72. Weird, vorty, vocal, different again, yes, too. I think this is the final. Take a little while.
How did you start working in FL Studio as a DAW?
To be honest, I started with GarageBand, but that was just basically putting loops together and then adjusting the MIDI files. But I already had so much fun with that, and then I was playing the like Spanish guitar, and my guitar teacher gave me a program. I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically just only for guitar. You could only use a guitar sound, but you can compose your own music with it. And I liked it so much, also because I was a little lazy, because I was writing songs on the guitar, but then whenever I had to play it to someone, or whenever someone wanted to hear it, I had to grab the guitar. So my idea was to put it in the computer, but then I wanted to add drums and stuff to it, so I did some research, and a friend of mine worked with FL Studio, and he installed it on my computer. And yeah, I just started messing around and exploring the program. I think that's how all of us start, just being interested and having fun with it. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it started as a hobby, it still is a hobby. I would go directly after school, I would go to my house, record my friends, their voices, pitch them weird, and just like have fun with it. And I think that's what music is all about. You should not think too much, you should just do whatever feels good for you. You should enjoy it, you should not think about, oh, I have to make this because that's what people want to hear. Fuck that, you should make whatever you want to make, whatever you want to represent as an artist. And some people are very worried, very stressed about, this is the project file. Some people are worried very stressed about, oh my god, I'm not having my break yet. Oh, I should change my sound because that's more popular right now. No. If you look at the people who are breaking right now, who have like huge successes, the people who are unique. If you look at like Noor Massa, Floon, these are the guys I really look up to as producers. K Tornada, they have such a unique sound, and yeah, my advice is definitely dare to be different. But let's go to Scared to Be Lonely. With Scared to Be Lonely, I worked with a guy called Frank. He's a Dutch guy. He also helped me with Oops with the violins. So basically what I do, I give him like an audio file or sometimes MIDI with what I have in mind for the strings, and he can play so many different instruments, so he can basically sound like a whole orchestra by himself. And he helped me with the strings in Scared to Be Lonely. So the string part is real. Ask me some questions so I can answer, because otherwise I'm just going to be like, hey, this is the snare, this is the clap, and you know what the snare is.
Okay.
Do I use standard samples? No. Sometimes I use the basic kick in Forbidden Voices from FL Studio, and it pissed a lot of people off. Because they were like, oh my god, I used the basic FL sample, but that's what samples are for. No, but for this song, I have a lot of different packs. I like the Jack U actually gave a pack away with like cool like percussion sounds, cool snaps, cool kicks. For this, yeah, I used hometown kick. I don't even know what it is. I think all of us, we just listen to a shitload of sounds and then pick up and make a list with our own favorite sounds. And also, if you go like you listen to a sound bank, you hear a sound, you're like, yo, this is sick. You save it, and then after a year of working, you have like your whole database of sounds you like and sounds you know. And that's what I also do with my kicks and my snares and the percussion. And I also use splice. It's very cool. Yeah, I think you guys know splice. Yeah? Cool. Yeah, so whatever. I use it a lot. I like it a lot for percussion and stuff. Yeah, it helps me out. Here the kick comes. The low is just a simple silence bass from Silent. I work a lot with Silent. I just installed my new laptop and I finally installed like 20 other different plugins and my mind is blown right now. But yeah, this is the low part of it. Once again, I'm not like a magician with like how I work. I just do whatever I think works and it works. It's my sidechain. I use Grossbeat for it. Yeah, just put the bass up. Because we used a lot of real instruments, but in that drop you can hear more synths and I'll explain more.
Do you approach a track that's a real instrument differently in terms of mixing and the like than you would like a soft synth or something like that?
For me what's just important that it sounds good. I went to the Herman Brood Academy and they taught me a lot of rules. Like, oh, you should do this is how you should do that, and it's very helpful. But for me, when I produce, I don't really think about the rules. I just do whatever. If I think, oh, it needs more bass here, I'm not going to be like calculating exactly how much more it needs. I just put the bass on. And saves a lot of time, a lot of extra thinking, and it works for me. I have no secrets. I can show you. This is my master channel, and this is the version I sent to the record label, and the one that's on Spotify on the radio. It's simple isotope master channel. Yes, here's synths. I can show you synths. First one is this. I call it like marshmallow bass. Yeah, more. And here I took all the lower frequencies away. You can hear it. And here, this one. This is the lower push. Also silent. And also you can hear the Grossbeat sidechain of it.
Sorry, I was raising up my hands for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I can see.
So when you record a real instrument, how do you like set up? Do you decide your BPM from the start and record, or do you just like manual?
Well, I do know.
Just need advice for your BPM wise on your recording and pop music, because BPM varies on pop music, right?
For me, I do know that the sound quality gets less when you stretch things, but yeah, for me, if a song feels better 2 BPM quicker, I just put it 2 BPM quicker. And I work a lot also with synths, so as soon as you don't hear the difference, it's fine. Because yeah, in the end, if it sounds good, okay. In Scared to Be Lonely, I actually used a guitar we recorded for In the Name of Love here. And when you solo it, it sounds like shit. But when you put it like together with the rest, you don't even hear that it's just a nice layer to fill up here. Here, now you can, like when you hear the full Scared to Be Lonely, you hear it sounds. It's a nice layer, you think, oh, this is a nice guitar, sounds good, but this is when you solo it, it sounds shit. You can hear stressed, here it gets really weird. You hear it sound shit? Like it doesn't sound like you record it like in a really good way, but when you play it all together, it's so minimalistic that I'm not gonna be worried that if you saw it doesn't sound good.
I was actually saying, like when you hear the guitarist or violinist recording, do you know that this guitar loop is 138 BPM or like do you know the BPM?
No, it depends. Sometimes I use a guitar loop which is recorded 120 BPM, I use it at 150 just because I like it. But sometimes, like when I did, for example, I did Oops, and I worked with a string guy. Of course, I'm gonna send him like an almost final result because I'm not gonna get him to record full on strings on like a complete different BPM. But like if it's a little bit different, it doesn't really matter. But the more you stretch it, the more fucked up it sounds.
Thank you.
See another question down here?
Ja, gebruikt u specifieke effecten op de shorts om wat voor te maken?
I don't use special. What was the question again? English? Sorry, interesting.
Do you use specific effects on the shorts?
On the chorus?
On the chorus to make it sound bigger?
The trick I have to make something sound bigger. I try to not edit like a sound too much. I just like to add sounds. If I want something to sound more full, more how do you say it? Bigger. I just layer it. It doesn't mean you have to hear the layer, but just the smallest, slightest amount of something extra can like lift something completely up. I can play the drop. It's a lot of different layers that turn into one thing. I played you the two bass ones and this one. Super simple. Vandalism. I love vandalism. It's great. I rendered this because my CPU was like, that's why I installed the new computer. And this is another layer. But you don't really hear this, but just when you play it all together, it makes more sense.
Do you use a lot of really like targeted EQing on each of the layers to make sure that they kind of complement each other when they sound?
Yeah, but I do that in the far end. First, I want everything. Because for me, what's very important is that the ideas are already there, and I'm not stuck on like, oh, it doesn't sound that good yet. For me, I want the whole. I think the first 2-3 hours when you make a song is the most important. Because after that, you're just gonna tweak. You're just gonna make it sound better. You're gonna work on the sounds. But if you're like in the first 2-3 hours, you have a melody and you're gonna listen to 20 different sounds, or like work for 1 hour on one sound, it's works maybe for you, but for me, I noticed that I'll be already very quickly tired of the song, or I get used to the melody and I forget that maybe if I do a note different, it's even better, or even worse.
It's almost like two different parts of the brain sometimes, right? It's like the creative side versus the
For me,
engineer.
I can play some rough ideas in a bit. Some of them is literally just me humming like melody, or like using the init from Silent. Just with a melody, but just because I don't want to lose the melody. I actually used the init a lot. I did a song called Oops, and I used the massive init for the breakdown. And then it's funny because on the internet people are like, oh my god, he's fucking lazy, but yeah, if it sounds good, why not? So this another layer. I'm all about layering, and then of course we got the real strings, and then I did this. It's a vocal sample I actually found on Splice, and then I put it in a slicer, pitched it, and then rendered it as one thing. If I prepared this better, I maybe can find the project where I did that. Maybe it's in here. Oh, I think it's in here. Oh no, this is a completely different melody, but with the same sample. I ended up not using this, but this is the sound I use for script. Oh, no, it's not in here. Anyway, you can hear the original sound, and then ended up doing this with it. And then with all the layers, with the bass and then the silence bass under the kick and simple isotope compression. It sounds like this. And then of course I have like effects and stuff. Also the snares, 3 layers. It's this one, this one. Like this. I use like isotope the presets a lot for like I did the vocal from Scared to Lonely with the isotope vocal preset, and I just edited it to the point where I was happy with it.
Now we've got a lot more questions from the crowd. Try and get to some of those right there. Yep.
Hi, I wanted to ask, what do you use to master your tracks and how do you master them?
I just showed you, it's basically isotope, but I do think the mixdown is way more important than the mastering. Sometimes a song that I work on already sounds good without anything on the master. I think if you make something, and this is not for, this also counts for pop stuff like this, but for me when I make like a house song, especially like the aggressive club stuff, it's very important it already sounds fat and good, and like then equalizing becomes very important. I want the song to sound good before you put anything on the master, and then when you put something on the master, compression or multi-bounder, then it takes the song to a whole complete new level, and that's when you get like the energy you want to deliver when you make a club song. I can show you guys how I make a club song. That's what I did with the other one. Are there any more questions about the project, or else I'm going to close it?
Anyone have a question specifically about this project? Maybe back there, in the back. Yeah. Yep.
Can you talk about your vocal chain?
Yeah, it's not next level crazy. I actually use like the reverb from FL. Compression is very important, but it also depends how they recorded it. For this song, I did the whole song with the demo singer, Georgia Coone, and then we sent it to Dua like, hey, would you want to sing this song? And she got her own vocal engineer to do it, because a lot of times when you work with big artists, they've got their own vocal guys, so they just send you like the stems basically. But yeah, when I record my own vocals, it's different. I do Area 21, and that vocal chain is completely crazy. Like we put a shitload of distortion, lots of reverb on it, and it sounds lots of auto-tune. It sounds very electronic, and it all depends on what kind of song it is. If you want it to sound edited, and the Area 21 stuff. Just for example, here you can hear the vocal chain on this. We pitch it, lots of distortion. I'm so glad you came to me to know you. Well, I've opened this project. It's a cool project. I just don't know.
Citroen. Zeg je citroen ook?
This vocal chain is completely crazy. I did think, like for me, I use a lot of the FL things. FL reverb.
Got another question down there. I've been really patient.
But also, wait, to get back on your question, sorry. I also use isotope a lot. I love the isotope preset, and then you can just adjust the settings to however you think it sounds good. But it's a good base to work from.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So it goes with vocals too. Like, what's the hardest part you find when, like, you find that it's hard, or that you have to work more when working with vocals or a singer or whatever it is?
Well, I like working with singers and vocalists because I have so many melodies going on in my head, and then
They just do it.
sorry.
They just do what you have in mind, and that's what.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I just hum a melody and then they fill it in with words. This song. Wait. I think you're all gonna make fun of me afterwards, but I hope I can find it.
In the meantime, how many of you out there are producers? Raise your hands. Wow.
I love this.
How many of you want to start producing? There we go. Okay. Not everyone's interested in this in some way.
This song. Very rough first idea. And then Tim and I would just hum the melody. It sounds horrible, but you can hear the song. It's making music is all about, for me. For me, music is about having fun, and for me, as I said, the first part of the process is the most important, because that's when, for me, I get uninspired. The longer I work on a track, the less inspired I get. There's been sometimes songs I put like 50, 60, or 80 hours in. And at the end of those 80 hours, I came to the conclusion like, fuck, I don't know what I can do different to this song, but it's not the song. It's not on the level yet that I want it to be. So for me, the first part of the process is very important. So it doesn't matter that there's no lyrics yet. Some songwriters, they're like, oh, we're gonna have to write the lyrics first, the subject and stuff. No, for me, I'm all about melodies, chord progression. If that feels good, that's the most important thing. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how great of a producer you are, if the song itself isn't a good song, or if it's not written well. Look at me, I'm not a fucking magician. I don't know, like I worked with Dairo. I sat next to him in the studio and I literally had a heart attack just looking at his project file. Dairo is a magician, it's crazy. And I wish I knew as much as him, but I don't. But for me, I'm all about songwriting, about the melodies, and I just do what works. I can show you, I don't know how much time, but maybe you can.
Looks like we have, what, 25 minutes left?
I mean,
So-
we could start something from scratch, and then you can.
Yeah. Let's do that, and then we can also kind of
in the
we can
meantime,
get
ask
questions on the same time. Yeah, let's right there. I know you've been patient waiting back there.
This is all of your sounds.
Just a short question. Previously you said the sound should be fed before it goes to the master channel of the song.
What did you say? Sorry.
So, you said the song itself should be fed before it goes to the master channel. So how are you like putting a compressor or limiter on every single track, or how do you like reach this loudness?
Oh, the loudness? No, for me, I want it to sound like the loudness is not about how much you edited on the master chain. It's about the mix down. If you get rid of but this is like before you put anything on a master. If you make it sound good, if you get rid of like the stupid frequencies, but that's some stuff I do at the end of the process. It's not what I'm gonna do.
But how do you reach it? Do you like use compressors on every single track?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then also like layering, I think, yeah, I guess.
But
like the more layers you have,
very different than, sorry. Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like one part of it is like layering, you know, you layer the melody, and the more layers you have, it sounds more like fat and full.
Yeah, but the more layers you have doesn't mean it sounds louder in compression or mixing wise. For me, I use different layers so the sound sounds more full. But in the end, what I was saying, I don't put anything on the master. Sometimes when I do club songs, I do a lot of times when I do pop songs, just because it's very hard to make something sound good. And also because I just start exploring the genre. But with club songs, I don't usually put anything on the master until I'm very happy with the mix down and it sounds already good without something on the master. And then when you start using compression, it's like you give it a shitload of Red Bull, and the song gets crazy.
Okay, thank you. So, right there in the hat. I had your hand up for a little bit.
Yeah. So, how do you choose which singer you're going to work with?
For me, what's very important is that I like the singer. Like, I'm not going to work with someone who I don't like the voice or I don't like the attitude. I've been in the studio with, I'm not going to say any names, but like a lot of very famous people, and just not being able to connect with them because I was like, why are they so rude? Or like, we're here to make a good song together. Don't give me a fucking attitude. And a lot of times right now, I work with demo writers. They're very chill, nice and relaxed. And then I just send a completely done song to like an artist, and then just vibe with it. One song, There For You, I did with Troye Sivan, and that I actually did with Troy. We went to the studio, we recorded the guitars, we wrote a bridge. But like with Dua or with Bebe, I never even saw them in the studio. With Bebe, I never even met her before the song was done. Dua Lipa I met for the first time at the video shoot of our song together, which is crazy to me.
Back there. Way back.
Let's see.
Yeah.
There it is.
I just installed all these new sounds and shit, so I'm super excited. It's a whole new world for me. You wanna do a pop thing or something club? Club? Something festival.
Martijn, when you're on the road and you don't have access to your full range of equipment and such, how does that
And then and my earplugs, because in the beginning part it's just about the melodies and the chords and stuff, and afterwards I go freak mode, and then like I'll make sure it sounds good. I start adding different layers to a sound, but if the sound already has a melody and the chords are clear and it's structured in the first 3 hours, I'm very happy with it. Then I decide, okay, I'm gonna finish it. Because there were moments that I was like, oh my god, this song's gonna be so sick, and then 20 hours in I realized I just spent 20 hours on nothing. Although I do think every minute you are behind your laptop is, even if you don't finish a song, I still think still every day I learn. And from every song, sometimes I do something by mistake, and I'm like, yo, this shit sounds cool, and you learn something, because the next time you want it to sound like that, you know how to get it. But yeah, let's do it.
No. I think everyone enjoyed watching you just do your thing and see you totally.
It's not how I want to do yet, but it's a start. It's fair.
So when you're building a melody like that, you know, what kind of process is going on up there? Do you have like a root?
I don't know. I just do whatever I feel like doing. I don't know. It's how do you describe what's in your head? I think it's very hard. My head is very crazy sometimes. Yeah, this is in my head. I want to change some things, but this is very festival. It could be big. With like a trapper synth. Ja, maar het is niet.
But I feel like that's what it is.
We do a couple more questions from the crowd, especially about this process. Yeah. Let's see. No, you've had your hand up for a bit. Yep.
What's the process like when you're making a song in the studio? Like, do you cancel out all internet, all phone, everything?
I like this question. What's the process when I'm in the studio? Like, I do not connect my studio laptop with internet unless I have to like download some files or plugins or shit. But like, I don't want to have my email or anything on my production laptop. Also, one, viruses. Two, distraction. Whenever you're stuck, you tend to go, oh, let's look on Facebook what's happening, or hey, let's go to Dumpert. So yeah, no, and my phone is a big distraction. So whenever I feel inspired, just put my phone in flight mode and focus. Because yeah, there's lots of distractions going on. But right now I built a new studio in my house, and just being there completely isolates me from the whole world, which is nice because lots of crazy shit going on.
Right there.
In the white shirt?
How is it for you to make music on the road?
For me to make music on the road is actually when I feel most inspired. When I'm home in the studio, I use it a lot to just finish shit and makes the song sound good. But when I'm traveling, because I meet all these different people and all these different cultures, these different countries, these different energies, and to me that's the most inspiring thing about touring, or not even touring, but just traveling. I love to travel. You get to meet new people, you get to meet new cultures, you get to taste different types of food, and literally all those things inspire me. And what also inspires me a lot is like listening to movie scores. Any more questions?
Right there. Yep.
How do you deal with not having inspiration? You know, like some days, you just
How do I deal with not having inspiration? Then I just don't go to the studio. then I go do shit that gets me inspired again. I noticed the exact problem you mean. You're like, I was with Michael, my manager, he's in the front in LA. We had a week in LA. He rented the whole studio for the week, and I showed up on the last day. It's like, yo, Mike, what's up? He was like, are you fucking serious? We pay a lot of money for this studio, but you can't force creativity. It's always nice to be in the studio, and like whenever I have a studio week right now, I just use it to finish stuff if I'm not inspired. And if I'm inspired, I start creating new stuff. But for me, I make very clear decisions like, yo, am I gonna finish an old song right now? Or do I feel inspired? Like right now, this whole week, I feel super inspired. I actually just opened because I want to make something new. And I love this plugin. But yeah, it's not good to waste your time. Well, you never waste your time in the studio, but it's not good to sit behind your computer, wait for your creativity to happen, because you can't force creativity. Sometimes I'm on the toilet and then suddenly I come up with an idea. Doesn't always mean that all the ideas show up when I'm in the studio.
Over there on the far left side. Yep.
And then the night you're in bed and the song is stuck in your head. Fuck, what should I say?
We're starting to run out of time, so I think after you show this, that might be where we need to call it.
I run a lot of separate things though for this one, for sure. I'll just show you I actually used the Prada snare as a white noise. I just sidechained it and put it on the whole drop. That gives the effect. And then the kick drum. Then actually the lead synth. Oh, that's the bass, sorry. This is the lead synth. It's a sample. I can show you how close it's Now it sounds shit, but then I layer it. This is one of the layers. It's just simple equalizing. I think it's really more high. I was on like high lower frequencies and I didn't want it to be in the way from the kick, so I took the lower way. Like a tremolo, side chain. Then next layer is this. Bass, super simple. And this is a really cool sample. And all together, also of course with the snare here. But yeah, I'm not like this song is great. Mixing wise, I hear it when I play live. I think I could have done better mastering wise. Not next level math. I still always learn. Let me open hoops. Because here, it's embarrassing when I put two compressors on top of each other. Because it sounds like two isotopes. Without, it sounds like this. So it changed a lot. The first one is most aggressive. And this is of course this layer that gives it more the human touch because it's a real instrument. Also, something that's weird, I don't really use this mixer, I just change the sounds like here.
I think this will probably could be the last thing because we're running a little bit over.
Then I want to make a new song.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask that?
Yeah.
How you handle like all this stereo imaging stuff? Because I really,
Yeah, how you handle like this stereo imaging stuff? Because I really fuck up there.
Well, for me, what's just important, what I do, I don't have next level wizard advice, but I just keep my lower frequencies in the mono spectrum, and then the more high frequencies goes like this.
Yeah.
Because when you play a song live, you don't want the lower frequencies to sound weird. You just want it to like hit you.
Thanks. All right, guys, I think we could watch him produce and ask questions all day, but unfortunately we do have to wrap this session. So give it up for Martin Garrix.
We'll be right back.